kids and pets. Plus, with a 100% satisfaction guarantee, you can relax knowing your yard is pest-free. Call today, mention the Jags to receive 10% off your initial service. That's Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
This is Keith Catlin for Catlin Truck Accessories, and we are so blessed to be in business for over 100 years. Over 100 years of the best product and customer service means you can count on Catlin. From Roll and Lock bed covers to Lear toppers to cam locker toolboxes, Catlin Truck Accessories has you covered when it comes to your truck or van. We do those too. Got a fleet of vehicles? We can outfit them all.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
One name, one location, 100 years. You can count on Catlin.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
If golf is your thing, you might want to check out Hidden Hills Golf Club. At Hidden Hills, we simply love the game, and we take great care of our golfing friends. Check us out at hiddenhillsgc.com. You'll be glad you did.
This is Hayes Carline for First Florida Credit Union. I bank with First Florida Credit Union because I trust them. I can always count on them when it comes to the vast services they provide. They were fantastic in setting up my car loan. I've never had a bad experience, and I've banked with them for years. I trust First Florida Credit Union. I go to the branch off 210 in St. Johns County and the new Durbin location, but they have 10 branches in the Jacksonville area. You need to be banking with First Florida Credit Union. They're enriching people every day. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity Lender.
Love cornhole? Then now's the time to order your custom set of quality boards from Mystic Cornhole Company, built right here in Jax. They even carry several lines of pro bags. Visit the shop today and score at Mystic Cornhole Company.
This is your 1010XL local sports update brought to you by Royal Pest Service, IBT. Hall of Famer Tony Baselli recently joined the drill where he was talking dirty to Jeff Prosser.
I think the total for Trayvon and Josh Allen will be 25.
Oh, talk dirty to me, big boy.
Anything, I think 23. 23 to 25.
And in some other Jaguar news, Louis Riddick joined Rich Eisen on the Eisen Show, where he really explained like he likes this running back room.
But the running back, Travis Etienne, is a stud. Tank Bigsby from Auburn, the running back they got in the third, I thought Tank was one of the best running backs in the draft. I mean, in the third round, he's going to be another one of those guys where I look back and go, how the hell did Tank Bigsby last till the third round? He's going to be that kind of guy.
At 10:04, it's 85 degrees. Your time and your temp is brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cool with Bueller. Stay tuned because Jaguars Today is next right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Last year's last year, and you just have to keep reiterating the point. Like, I've said this in here before. It's it's a new team, it's a new season. We got to start over, and that's got to be the mentality. It's great what we did, but we haven't done anything in 23. We haven't played a football game yet.
It just really feels like, for the first time in my 20 years, it's not only the needle pointed up, but like way up, straight up. Like this thing jumping about, like they were about to jump on a rocket bound for the moon. And I just feel like that's where this team is headed.
So I think Trevor's going to win the MVP. I think Trevor's going to have an unbelievable season for a team that's going to win a lot of games against bad football teams.
Shotgun for Trevor. He drops. He looks. Fires left side of us. Caught! Good! Good! Zay Jones catches it! The two-point conversion is good! Jacksonville is taking the lead! How good is that?
I would say Tank Bigsby. I think he'll be the rookie that the nation kind of wakes up on.
Bigsby runs the opposite way and finds a crease. Inside the 30, with a cutback. Breaks a tackle. Inside the 10. Goal line! Touchdown!
We've done all the work. The city's growing. The Jaguars are ascending. We have, new leadership in the mayor's office. Now is Jacksonville's time.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and
Hold my pocket!
Dylan Denmark.
Coach Pockets. That might actually stick.
I think it
for
might,
a little while.
yeah.
It's kind of like the unofficial nickname. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a whole process. You're going to have to explain it to people because I've been explaining how Fat Tony came about for 20 years. Mm-hmm. People still ask us weekly at the least.
Yeah.
Huh. Or they meet you.
Yeah.
Huh. You must get that all the time.
It's crazy how often I get that. Like, people meet me and then they find out what it is. They're like, you sound familiar. Yeah. Like, that kind of thing. It's like, yeah, you sound familiar. I was like, yeah, this is what I do. Jaguars Today, 1010XL, this kind of thing. And you're like, and I'm like, yeah, Fat Tony. And they're like, you're Fat Tony. You're Fat Tony.
Right.
I'm like, yeah.
Like, they think you're going to be 450 pounds.
Right. It's like,
apologies to the 450 pounders out there, man.
And then
hard.
you get the question, why is it Fat Tony? I've explained that so many times.
It's just a little funny little
like
joke.
My doctor's office, the last time I saw a new doctor, the second time that I went in, she was like, my husband apparently listens to this station all the time. And
he's worried about you.
Like, all this stuff. And she's like, He asked me, the only thing he asked me is, why do they call him Fat Tony? I was like, okay.
Here we go.
Like, one
Dempsey
more time.
did it to me again. I got to go and explain this whole thing. So Justice Pockets, coming straight out of the rap name generator. And then people were like, what? The what is that? Are those
Justice
things still
Pockets
popular?
is so good.
It is so good. AKA Justice Pockets. They had a whole bunch of other gobbledygook in there. I can't remember, and I probably won't. But anyway, good morning, everyone. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark here with you by whatever names you call us. So we are Jaguars Today, and happy to be talking Jaguar football with you as we're a couple weeks out from training camp. I got the opportunity to go on the AFC South Fan Battle podcast last night, Tony. I was
very cool. How was that?
I was just very nice to be invited, right? Like anyone cares enough to have you on to hear your opinion on different things. So it was a lot of fun. Want to thank particularly the Jaguar representatives on that. One of the hosts is named, wait for it, Josh Allen. Okay, and we'll see. After this year, how I feel about his place in the hierarchy of things. Cody and Samantha wasn't there. Sam wasn't there. She was on vacation, but she is a part of the Jaguar contingent on that. It was
Coming
very
from
fun.
a Smith, don't we have enough Josh Allens?
Right? Like Tony Smith, there's got to be.
Yeah.
I know there's a whole Facebook group out there. I know there used to be, at least, for Mike Dempsey's. Like, if there are enough of me, there's certainly enough Tony Smiths out there.
Well, my dad's name is John Smith. That's my dad's name. Now, my mom's name is Mary. She spells it differently than M-A-R-Y. It's like Mary Melodies, right? With the M-E-R-R-I.
Like Mary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So I'm Tony Smith, the son of a John and Mary.
Yeah. Right. You guys really stuck your necks out there collectively on the whole
But I do, like, the Josh Allen thing is funny because, we talk about our Josh a lot. Right? And so I'll be trying to look up stats and stuff, and you'll go, Josh Allen stats, and they'll give me the Buffalo
throw Jaguars in there.
It's like, come on, man. Like, don't I look this up enough to know?
How many times we got to beat that team? If we beat them this year, can we at least get – I mean, it's not like they're going to the Super Bowl here.
Yeah. I was like, I thought the internet's supposed to learn about me at some point. Like, when I put in Josh Allen stats, I'm looking for
a certain one.
This Josh Allen.
Former Kentucky Wildcat.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So, Josh Allen will probably come up. He came up last night. I think he's one of the guys under the most pressure on this team, man. I heard you've probably heard the clip if you listened to Breakfast with Baselli like I did on my drive in this morning. I'm sure the audience has probably heard the clip. Dylan, we got that handy. Baselli cut one from this morning. Can we fire that one up? Talking about Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen and what kind of sack total the two might put up this year.
I think the total for Trayvon and Josh Allen will be 25.
Oh, talk dirty to me, big boy.
Anything, I think 23 to 25.
He quickly gave himself a little wiggle room. I think 23. I'm very strong on 23. 21, absolutely. No, but look, you kidding? 23?
Yeah.
If they're, wouldn't you take 20 in a sec to have them average 10 between them? Right now, I would. I would. You got to make up the loss of some of your pass rush from last year. It's not like you had a distinguished pass rush to begin with. So, 25. Man, 25.
25.
You give me 25 sacks out of the top two guys, Tony, presuming there's not a wave of crippling injuries on offense. This team's going deep into the postseason.
You would think, yeah.
Right? I mean, presuming they don't get to the postseason and then hit a brick wall like, man, we fattened up on a bunch of bad teams. And that's possible as well in that scenario. But
because 25, you're thinking Josh Allen's probably in that 15 range.
Or at least, right. Or they're right. Maybe 10 10-15. Yeah, something like that, right?
Like, and it doesn't seem like it could be 12.5 for each of the guys, right?
Sure.
Technically. But one of the guys is going to be the leader in the clubhouse, you would assume. And you would assume that if one of them's going to be the leader in the clubhouse, it's likely to be Josh Allen. If they're going to total 25 between the two of them, I think Josh Allen is pushing 14, 15 sacks this year.
Well, and if that happens, let's play this game, okay? Play fun with math, okay? Josh Allen gets 15, Trayvon Walker has 10, or 14 and 11, whatever, okay? All of a sudden, whether it's Caleb Chase on or, just name the guy that has not done anything yet as a pass rusher in the National Football League that might have the opportunity. Jordan Smith on this team, right? I mean, Yasir Abdullah, anybody. There are going to be so many opportunities to rush one-on-one.
Yeah.
Because these guys, if you got two guys in that range, you're going to be drawing all kinds of attention. Mike Caldwell's going to have a field day with his blitz packages, and I would not worry about the rest of the pass rush, and I would presume that, Arden Key's numbers will be easily replaced. DeJuan Smoot, whether it's him back to try to replicate his numbers or somebody else, they're going to achieve those numbers because the pressure taken off you and the attention paid to those top two guys would be tremendous. So
for sure,
sign up for that in a heartbeat. All right, that's not the focal point of today's question of the day, but it may play a large part in your deliberations today. This was going back to Friday. We saw that Adam Rank piece on basically the state of the franchise. He's doing one for every team over at NFL.com. And it concluded with the question that we posed to Tom McManus. And you and I each answered in a similar fashion in terms of advancing in the playoffs, getting to the divisional round of the playoffs. But want to find out today what the Jaguar fans and listeners' opinion is on filling in the blank to this question. It's for 2023 to be a success, the Jacksonville Jaguars must blank. What is that? Is it stay healthy? Is it go to the Super Bowl? Is it win the Super Bowl? I mean, what is your definition of success for this team? Granted, every team's ultimate goal is to win the Super Bowl. So there's a level of failing to meet your goal for 31 of the teams in the NFL. That's just the way it's going to be every year.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean, you're not going to look at the Arizona Cardinals and go, man, if they go 8-9 this year, defy expectations, you're not going to go, oh, my gosh, what a terrible season for them. Right. Maybe you would because you're like, well, you didn't go to the playoffs and you were in position to maybe make a run at the number one pick anyway. But, in terms of what they accomplished this year, there's a different bar for different teams. Now, if you feel like the bar is Super Bowl or bust, that's fine. That's why we're asking you today to fill that in and let us know how that whole thing went down in your mind as you considered that this morning. Cody Benjamin's going to join us from CBS Sports. He's written a lot of NFL pieces this offseason, including a lot of mentions of your Jacksonville Jaguars, including ranking Trevor Lawrence rather nicely among the top quarterbacks in the National Football League. So we'll get an outsider's perspective. Speaking of outsider perspectives, probably heard some of the audio again. If you're just tuning in, you might not have, but if you listened to the drill this morning, you heard a lot from ESPN's Louis Riddick just raving about the Jaguars' chances. Almost like, Tony, he thinks that GM job is still open, and he's going to get the call this time. Because remember last time, people were saying, hey, let's get rid of Trent Baalke, and candidates would get mentioned, and he was a guy that, a lot of people think may one day follow that Mike Mayock path from broadcaster who weighs in on the draft and team building a lot to being an actual team builder, at least get the opportunity to do that. But he is absolutely bullish on your Jacksonville Jaguars. So we got a lot to get into today, and we hope you want to be a part of it. You can be a passive listener. That's always fine. You could be an active listener. I don't know what the difference is, really, if you're paying attention. But I guess I'm saying you could call and interact with the program. You can take it to a higher level at 641-1010 on the phone lines or the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, or hit us up on Twitter today at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, and at 1010XL Denmark. Have you looked into Twitter handles for Coach Pockets, Justice Pockets, JP the second? Because we do have a JP issue here with the Jags, too, Pockets. I don't know.
I've not done any research yet.
All right, well,
I'll get back to you tomorrow.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that's high on your list of priorities, young man, but understandably so. We're ready to roll. We're going to talk Jaguar football with you. We're excited. 2 weeks out from training camp, man. Let's get this thing rolling. The deserved AFC South favorite, Jacksonville Jaguars, our focus every day. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Tire Outlet. Are you tired of overpaying for your tires? Of course you are. If you've been overpaying, well, if you've been shopping at Tire Outlet, you don't have that problem. If not, cruise on into Tire Outlet. You'll get the best selection, best quality, and the best prices on the tires that you need to keep you and your family safe on the road. The great thing about Tire Outlet, they've got over 40 years of experience and 14 locations all around the First Coast. So it's super convenient, and they're so knowledgeable. They've got the products and services. It's not just tires, but man, do they have the best in tires. You always get wholesale prices and premium service every time you shop with Tire Outlet.
Jaguars Today from the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Studios.
JOI, where the pros go. Now, another classic moment in Jags history.
Brunell, with time again, drills it deep, caught, touchdown, Jimmy Smith.
1010XL.
No dental insurance? No problem. Introducing the Care Plus program from the dental offices of Dr. James McCall. For only $625 per year, you will receive 2 cleanings and dental exams, a full set of x-rays, plus 1 emergency dental exam and x-ray. You'll also receive a 20% discount on all other services offered. Kids 12 and under will receive the same program for only $525. Call Dr. McCall today at 620-9225.
For the past 5 years in Jacksonville, J-Dog Junk Removal has been on a mission to put veterans back to work. They have successfully helped over 40 veterans find meaningful employment, and they're not stopping there. Their goal is to reach an astounding 75 veterans employed by the year 2025, all in our local community. J-Dog Junk Removal, veteran-owned, veteran-operated.
Honeydew list around the house just getting longer? First Coast Home Pros has handyman services you can trust. From bathroom remodeling to home repairs, First Coast Home Pros has you covered. Go to firstcoasthomepros.com.
Run to the Jacksonville Sharks for their fight against the Albany Empire this Saturday, July 15th, 7 o'clock, Star Arena. With tickets as low as $15, you can't find this kind of affordable fun anywhere else. It's Halloween and July night, one of the faves. Wear your best Halloween costume for a chance to win the best dressed prize. Enjoy Halloween movies, visit the 13th floor haunted house postgame. Shark Tank this Saturday, July 15th, 7 o'clock, Star Veterans Memorial Arena. Call 904-621-0700 or go to jacksharks.com. Prepare for a fright. Fins up.
If SEC football is music to your ears, let 1010XL take you to Nashville for all-weather contractors SEC Media Days, presented by South State Bank and brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning, Underwood Jewelers, and Southern Steer Butcher.
The following people are under the influence of no air conditioning.
Oh, man.
Is it ever hot? I can't get up. My legs are stuck to the chair.
Can guys go through menopause?
Why?
I think I'm having a hot flash.
Don't let no AC happen to you. Call Duck Duck Air Conditioning, available 24 hours a day, and they'll fix it right the first time. When your AC system needs a repair, it's time to call Duck Duck Air, 904-862-6769, or online at duckduckac.com. Duck Duck Air Conditioning, a division of Duck Duck Rooter.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. Clayton, you talk a lot about a diamond's cut grade. Why is a diamond graded for cut?
David, that's simple. We cut grade diamonds to show a measurement of beauty and light return to the person looking at the diamond so they can understand the value difference between a diamond cut for maximum beauty and one that's cut for maximum weight. Now, it gets a little more complicated when you find out that the American Gem Society Laboratory actually assigns a cut grade from 0 or ideal to a 10 or very poor. That cut grade is composed of measured light return using the latest optical and computerized technology, along with the diamond's proportion grade, are those critical measurements essential to brilliance, fire, and sparkle, and finally a grade for a diamond's perfection in polish and symmetry using a binocular microscope. At Underwoods, we can actually demonstrate the American Gem Society system for cut grading diamonds in our stores. So if you're interested in owning a diamond cut for maximum beauty and want some expert advice, come see us.
Underwood Jewelers in San Marco, in Avondale, and at the shops of Ponte Vedra.
The Reggie Hunt Memorial Golf Classic Fundraiser Golf Tournament is Friday, October 20th at Amelia River Golf Club. All proceeds support Big Brothers Big Sisters. Register at the Big Brothers Big Sisters events page.
Duval. Your Jaguars are locked in and ready to play. Our home schedule lineup features exciting matchups that you don't want to miss.
Into the end zone, touchdown!
After all our success this past season, the 2023 season is going to be one that you'll want to be a part of. With a variety of plans, we've got ticketing options for every budget. So visit jaguars.com/tickets to lock in the best seats at the bank or call 904-633-2000 to buy now.
Hey, this is Jason with Bueller Air Conditioning. Why do we love to go to that awesome grocery store where shopping is a pleasure? Why do we choose that amazing chicken sandwich where the service is fast and friendly and it's always their pleasure? You see, those brands are a promise. Here at Bueller Air, our team is committed to serving the customer and delivering that same kind of brand promise. Our mission is to be the most trusted brand with friendly and professional service every single time. Give us a call today or visit BuellerAir.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Now more Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, here we go. Fresh week, Jaguars Today, getting closer to the real thing when we stop creating storylines and then just react to the actual storylines that they create themselves right now. But that's okay. Once again, we'll point out this is a time of year where if you have to create a storyline for your team, that's not the worst scenario. Usually the storylines you get in mid-July are negative storylines.
For sure. Yeah.
Although, Tone, we've got 7 days now on the Evan Ingram front. I don't know if that's a huge negative storyline if he doesn't get the extension done. I'd still like to see it get done, but full confidence that he's going to be a member of this team this year. I would hope, I can't speak for Evan Ingram, but I would hope that, okay, if you're going to resign yourself to playing on the franchise tag and you go past next Monday and you're not allowed to, at that point, it doesn't matter. If the Jags change their mind, I wanted to give you $20 million a year, they could not. They can't do it.
Yep.
So I would hope Evan Ingram realizes what a great opportunity this team has to make a deep, deep run in the postseason. Who knows? Maybe win it all, honestly.
Yeah.
Right? And be a part of that right from the jump of training camp, be fully integrated in the offense. I understand he knows the offense. He was here last year and all that. And everyone talks about Evan Ingram. You know, when we talk to Hayes and Mia and Ship and Demetrius and the people that are at every single practice, every single day, they'll tell you Evan Ingram, arguably Mike DeRocco, don't want to leave anybody out, arguably the hardest working guy on the team, right? Or put it this way, takes a backseat. There may be 10 guys. How do you determine who the hardest working guy is, right?
He works really hard.
If you said
no one's working harder.
Here's the 10 hardest working guys on the team, Evan Ingram's in that group.
Yeah.
You know, 5 hardest working guys, whatever the case may be. He's not going to take his spot for granted. That being said, I respect his right to handle it however he wants. He is not under contract to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yep.
If he wants to walk, I don't want him to do this because I'm selfish. My point of view is not for Evan Ingram. It's for Evan Ingram as long as he's in a Jaguar uniform. I don't have anything against Evan Ingram if he leaves and goes to another team, but I'm not going to pull for him.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean? I want the Jags to succeed. He is a part of that mix. And so I want him to show up. I don't, but it's certainly his prerogative to wait till the day before the season kicks off if he wants to.
For sure.
As long as they don't pull that franchise tender and sign that bad boy and still collect his fully guaranteed average of the top 5 players at his position salary. So do it how you like. I just hope, based on what we've learned about Evan Ingram since he's been here, that he'll choose the former route. Again, get the deal done. I got no problem with it, man. That means the Jags are happy with it. The Jags are going to make a deal. They understand the salary cap implications of what's going on. And I think that's one thing they've done a pretty good job of, Tone. And I know this year they weren't in a position where they could go out and just spend wildly and freely. But they're also in a position where they don't have to, right? Because the roster is pretty good, and you have the young ascending quarterback, and you do have to have an eye towards the future. And I think even throughout their mostly bad success rate under the ownership of Shad Khan, that they've done a pretty good job managing the salary cap and putting themselves in position to not being forced to make too many cuts from guys that they really feel still had a lot to contribute to this football team.
Well, yeah. I mean, they gave Blake Bortles the extension. We all kind of felt certain ways about making the decision to do it. They went out and spent the big money on Nick Foles. It's not like they've ever been held back from spending the money since Shad Khan has become the owner of this franchise, right? Like, there's never been a time that I can remember since he got here where they need to be spending this on this, and the opportunity is there to do it, and Shad says, no, we're not doing that, right? Like, it's never been that. And last year, with all the money they spent in the offseason, it wound up being good money. The team got way better last year than it had been the year before, so you don't have as much to spend this offseason because you spent a bunch of it last year. Now, they still have what they have available to them now, like $12 million. We talked about it when they were redoing all these contracts for a bunch of guys. Okay, now what are they going to do? Well, to this point, nothing. But I don't think it has anything to do with Shad Khan, right?
Oh, no.
That's a bulky deal.
Right, that's a bulky Peterson brain trust deal that let's maybe get into we're, again, trying to read the tea leaves here, but let's get into training camp, see what we've got in terms of a pass rush, and are these guys showing flashes, and you hear in certain circles, hey, Caleb on Chaison's opening eyes. I don't know how many eyes you can open in the kind of practices they have right now. I mean, I'm highly skeptical that guys like Chaisson, Jordan Smith's never really been on the field to know.
No.
But I'm skeptical he'll stay on the field because that's been the track record. So you're going to have to show me something before I go, oh, we're going to be fine with this guy and this guy. I'm not even sure we're fine with the first two guys on the team when we were talking about what kind of level of production. But we'll give you a little sample of how giddy Louis Riddick is from ESPN about this team. We'll hear more from him in the second hour today with Cody Benjamin coming up in about 10 minutes from CBS Sports, get a national perspective on your team. But Louis Riddick talked about, and we focus so much on the offensive side and the burgeoning young group of what we hope are going to be stars over there. But Riddick thinks the Jags have fantastic young players on defense.
And defensively, they've got athletes galore everywhere. It's really going to come down to, look, Mike has got – this is where I think it's going to all come together. Yep. See, Mike's a young up-and-coming defensive coordinator. He's got a bunch of guys on the defensive side of the football that are just fantastic freaking athletes who are young and are still trying to figure out how to play together and make plays in the biggest of moments.
By the way, that's on the Rich Eisen show that Louis Riddick appeared talking about this. I'm not going to argue. They do have fantastic athletes. Like Travon Walker, there's no question. That guy's a freakish athlete, right? Yeah. To be able to move and have the short area quickness at his size that he does. Devin Lloyd's a tremendous athlete. Tyson Campbell's a tremendous athlete. Josh Allen's a tremendous athlete. Probably every NFL team has its collection of tremendous athletes, though, on the defensive side of the ball. Do they have tremendous defensive football players?
Yeah.
And, yes, this on Mike Caldwell and the staff to get the best out of these guys. But, to this point, that's where all of us have the biggest question marks on just how much they are going to be able to get out of them.
We were reacting to Tony Baselli talking about putting the number at 25, then he took it down to 23, right? For the
23 to 25.
Combined sacks for their top two guys. So I got curious, right? How many times have the Jags reached 20?
From their top two guys.
From their top two guys in franchise history.
2017.
That's what I was looking at. I was like, here since we started, I was going back year by year to take a look at how many times they've done it in the history of the franchise.
Can I guess two max?
It's more than two.
Is it more than two? Okay.
It's more than two. They, 2017, they had 26.5 sacks combined for Calais and Yon. They had 14.5 and 12 separately. 2018, the next year, same two guys. Got to exactly 20. Calais 10.5. Yannick Ngakoue 9.5.
Okay.
99. Tony Brackens and Kevin Hardy combined for 22.5 that year. 12.
Is that the year that Hardy had 10?
10.5.
10.5. Okay.
Yep. And they had, I think that was the only year in franchise history where they had three guys with 10. because I think Gary Walker somebody had 10 that year, too.
I mean, they were the number one defense in the league.
It was.
for most
Gary
of the
Walker
games.
had 10 that year, too, for the Jags. So
Cheap bunk.
that's the only year they had 3 guys with 10. So 20, right, would put it, if those 2 guys combined for 20, it would be the 4th best duo.
If they combined for 20. So how many of those, what were the totals again?
It was 20 in 2018.
Okay.
It was 22 and a half in 1999, 26 and a half.
Okay, so Tony Baselli was saying this morning that we should expect at least the second best
combo
pair of pass rushing seasons in Jaguar history.
Yeah.
Second only potentially to Calais and Jan.
Well, I think both guys are super talented, right? But those are big numbers. Big numbers from those 2 guys. And basically with, 20 being kind of the bottom end of it there, right, which made some sense. But 20 being the bottom end of it there, you had 2018 with 10.5, 9.5, right, where it was actually like that true split between the 2 guys. The other times that they did it, there was at least one guy who was pretty clearly the lead sack guy for the team. Like, it wasn't certainly as close
But I mean,
as
think about how good Calais was that year. The best defensive season in Jaguar history, I would say, right? For me.
2017. Yeah, he had 14 and a half.
14 and a half sacks. He was runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year in the entire National Football League. And he had 14 and a half, and Jan had, 10 and a half?
12.
That's what you're basically calling for here. Right now, granted, you got a little wiggle room if you're in that 23 to 25 range, but the sunshine is back to full-on pumping right now through the coursing through the veins of one Tony Baselli. I hope he's right. I'm not saying that it's impossible that could happen.
No.
It's just, man, it'd be tough to put your money down on that one based on history.
Look, in 2018 turned out the way 2018 did, but were 99 in 2017 any good?
They were very good.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, those are 2 of the best teams in franchise history. Like, if they're going to have that happen again this year in combination with what they could potentially be on offense, watch out.
They were the best probably single-season defenses in Jaguar team history.
For sure.
Right? Collectively. And it was the pass rush was a big part of it. They were turnover machines on top of that, and they created scoring opportunities for themselves and for the offense. So you're right. Look, anything approaching that, and you're going to love it because I have full confidence that this offense, if they remain healthy, is going to be among the best in the National Football League this year. We'll find out what Cody Benjamin thinks, if he agrees with that assessment, because he certainly likes the prospects of one Trevor Lawrence. Cody Benjamin from CBS Sports NFL coverage will join us coming up next with Tony Smith and Dylan Denmark. I'm Mike Dempsey. You're listening to Jaguars Today. Keep it right here on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
This is Jaguars Today from the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute studios.
JOI, where the pros go. Summertime in your favorite city.
In the summertime when the weather is hot,
there's no place like home.
We're always happy, lives we're living, yeah, that's our philosophy.
Stay cool with 1010XL 92.5 FM.
This Saturday, witness the thunderous clash of 2 rugby league titans. Your ratified credit union Jacksonville Axemen take on the Atlanta Rhinos at 6:30. Tickets start at $10 and free for kids under 13. Get showdown details at jacksaxemen.com.
Did you know the 2023 Honda CR-V Hybrid never needs to be plugged in? The onboard system charges the batteries for you. When you think Honda, think hybrid. Good for the environment, great for your budget. Visit your local Honda dealer to experience the CR-V of the future today.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about not being afraid of the crosses of life. Life can be difficult. Maybe today you're carrying a cross of worry or stress. Let me encourage you to remember that when Christ got on the big cross at Golgotha, he destroyed all the little crosses that we face in our life. He set us free from fear, worry, and anxiety. Our job is not to be carried by the cross, but to be carried by our faith.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
Hurricane season is officially underway, and now's the perfect time to make sure your home is protected from those storms by scheduling a complimentary roof inspection with Universal Roof and Contracting. And right now, get 15% off your roofing project, plus flexible financing. This offer expires July 31st and restrictions apply. Universal Roof and Contracting, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. License number CCC 1330747, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com.
sports. The grind outside the lines is what ultimately defines our success. Get the amateur's edge, powered by B3 Better, to learn the hidden path of top pros, amateurs, and coaches. Saturday mornings at 11 on 1010XL.
AC's broke, it ain't no joke. Call Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. FloridaHomeAC.com.
Are you drowning in credit card debt? Want to get cash out of your home's equity? Loan Pronto can now do it in less than a week. Hey, it's Prosser here, and that's right. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit just got even faster. You can get $50,000, $100,000, or even $200,000 in as little as 5 days. And you don't even have to touch your primary mortgage, so you can keep that 3% rate intact. Just get the money you need and pay off all those credit cards, or get that home improvement project started. With this revolutionary program, you can access up to 90% of your home's value, and in most cases, there's no appraisal. Stop paying insane interest rates to the credit card companies and get tens or even hundreds of thousands in cash in as little as 5 days. Call Loan Pronto now for the even faster Equity Express line. 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com or 904-999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Craving a cold one? Well, zip into one of the great gate locations you see all over town and pick up a cold Bud Light, or a Natty, or an Ultra, maybe a 12-pack of the King of Beers, or some cold Coronas. It's all happening at your local gate convenience store. Slide on in today.
Yo, this is Tony from Tony D's. Are you looking for a great slice of pizza? Well, we have about 12 varieties. Most places won't have slices of pizza after lunch. At Tony D's, you can get a slice all day. It's always fresh at Tony D's Pizza. Bay Meadows and 295.
Are you an electrician looking for better pay and benefits? Miller Electric Company has the industry-leading compensation package. Electricians are eligible for a signing bonus up to $1,000. Now, they're partnering with the Jaguars on their new performance facility, the Miller Electric Center. Miller Electric has opportunities for you to work on some of the most exciting projects right here in Jacksonville. Whether you're experienced or not, visit MillerCareers.com, an equal opportunity employer. That's MillerCareers.com.
Summer Nights, presented by One to One Financial, is an evening affair benefiting Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida. Saturday, August 26th. Enjoy an evening at the beautiful Glass Factory as you sip premium cocktails. Dance the night away with live swing music from Bold City Classics. Taste delicious dishes from local restaurants and win exciting auction packages. For details and tickets, go to tinyurl.com/2023 Summer Nights.
At Andy's Automotive and Truck Services, they know that your company's fleet is more than just a bunch of cars and trucks. It's your livelihood, your reputation, your pride. So when you need routine fleet maintenance or emergency repairs, Andy's offers after-hours and mobile service to minimize your downtime and keep your fleet running like new. While you care for your employees and customers, rest assured Andy's Automotive will take care of your fleet. Visit the team at andysats.com.
Time now for a medical recap. A health and wellness tip from Jaguars head team physician Dr. Kevin Kaplan.
Your musculoskeletal system carries the body, meaning that it maintains the structure against gravity. If you want your joints to stay healthy and seek the simplest solution, the best answer is to lose weight. Don't forget that the more weight you put onto your joints, the more pressure and stress there is on your hips and knees. This translates to more pain if you're already having issues. Losing weight is the quickest way to alleviate joint pain and boost your joint health. Go Jags.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL. Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, we'll go to the All-Pro Roofing hotline, phone line, whatever you want to call it. Welcome in All-Pro Roofing, and welcome in Cody Benjamin with Mike Dempsey and Tony Smith from CBS Sports. Cody Benjamin had some nice things to say about your quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, in one of his recent pieces there, which ranked the top 10 quarterbacks in the National Football League. And Cody, first of all, good morning. Thanks for taking a few minutes out. How are you, man?
I'm doing well. We're finally, training camps and all that stuff is right around the corner finally. So it's nice to be on with you talking football again.
Well, we're happy to have you on. I'm not trying to wish our summer away. We still have a couple of weeks, but it is nice. Like here in Jacksonville, it's nice. We haven't had many seasons in the Shad Khan ownership era where we've anticipated great success, and this is one of those times. And I was on a podcast yesterday, and they asked me, what is your biggest reason for optimism? I'm like, it's the combination of Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence. It's no surprise when you have a near elite quarterback or a quarterback who's got that potential. That's the most important asset you can have in today's game. You ranked Lawrence 7th among quarterbacks right now, behind some of the usual suspects, including, Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert, Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, Mahomes, Burrow, and Allen go ahead of him in almost every ranking. Cody, why are you confident that the Trevor Lawrence we saw in the second half of the season is going to be more of the norm going forward as opposed to the guy who struggled at times prior to that?
Yeah, I just think, if you look at the trajectory in just 2 seasons, I think so much of, coming out of college, he was talked about so highly, like the next Andrew Luck. Equivalent to that in terms of being a prospect coming out. And so much of that was lost in that rookie season where it was a listless debut. And a lot of that has been, thrown onto the coaching staff at the time, the setup around him. And for him to take such noticeable strides in year 2, that's obviously, it was his second year in the NFL, but it was his first year with another coaching staff, another, adjusted supporting cast around him. And I just think that the strides that he took were so apparent. And then, like you mentioned, in the second half of the year, really when things really started to matter, down the stretch in the season. And then, I was very impressed with just that first playoff game. I think it was kind of an epitome of, year 1 and year 2 of Trevor Lawrence. That first half against the Chargers, there were some forced throws. There was some things weren't going the right way. And yet he and Doug Peterson found a way to kind of dig the Jaguars out of that hole. And, yeah, I just look at, the tools have always been there for Trevor Lawrence. Coming out as a prospect, we all know what he can do physically. The fact that he actually put some good tape out there at the end of the year, and the fact that the Jaguars now have better weapons for him, I just think it's very obvious why everyone is kind of high on his trajectory. And I think, yeah, it is. It's a fun time, I think, finally for Jaguars fans, knowing that you have that coach and quarterback combo.
You wound up putting Trevor at number 7 on that list, as we've mentioned. At what point when you were putting that article together did you begin to consider Lawrence?
Oh, well, you know what? Trevor Lawrence, and we've done several different versions of quarterback rankings this offseason. In all of them, I think Trevor Lawrence has, in my mind, been floating between that 5 and 7 area. I think that, obviously a lot of that, I think more than some other guys, he's benefiting a little bit from projection, seeing what he did in the second half of last year and projecting that onto 2023, where you're presuming that Calvin Ridley's going to make an impact in the passing game. Travis Etienne's going to be there and healthy again. So I think there's certainly projection involved, but I just look at the tools. I see a guy who, we give Justin Herbert all these props for the way that he just kind of came in, and from the get-go, he looked comfortable. He's got just a laser of an arm. I see so many of those qualities in Trevor Lawrence. He just didn't have, you compare Trevor Lawrence's supporting cast and coaching staff when he first came out to what Justin Herbert had. And I just think, you plug Trevor Lawrence into any of the teams of the quarterbacks that are above him on those rankings. You put Trevor Lawrence on the Jets right now. You put him on the Chargers. You put him on the Bills. I think all those teams are legit title contenders. And so I think that says a lot about, what he can do physically and the way he, his career is progressing very quickly.
Talking here with Cody Benjamin of CBS Sports this morning. And Cody, I think credit to the front office. You talk about the weapons and how they've improved from year 1 to year 2 and now going into year 3 for Trevor Lawrence. A lot of skepticism even locally about the contracts given out to Christian Kirk and Zay Jones last year, and they both, I thought, lived up to it. And when you look at Calvin Ridley now specifically, he's kind of replacing Marvin Jones Jr., not necessarily in the hierarchy because he's going to be further up the pecking order, but what are you expecting? I mean, it'll be almost 2 full years since Ridley has been on the football field in earnest when he debuts for the Jaguars this year. Are you expecting to see the same or a similar player to what we saw in his last full season in Atlanta?
Yeah, I mean, we've gotten to the point now where, he's done the Players Tribune piece.
Mm-hmm.
He's promised the 1,400 yards. Like, we've gotten to the point now where, I'm almost a little bit, I'm not worried, but, it seems almost like it's become a given that he's going to step in and be this dynamic number one. And we have to remember that, even in Atlanta, where, he claimed he put up the 1,400 yards with a bad foot. We have to remember, too, that it wasn't a long time that he was like a clear number one in Atlanta. He was working alongside Julio Jones to start his career. Now, I do think it's going to be big, though. I mean, I think even if he's not 1,400 yards, right out of the gate, I think one of the biggest ways he's going to help is just by, you mentioned replacing Marvin Jones, but certainly if he's anywhere close to what he was at his peak in Atlanta, I think he's bumping Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, Evan Ingram to even more secondary roles, and I think those guys are just perfectly suited for being those number 2, number 3, number 4 options for Trevor Lawrence. I think if Calvin Ridley, like I said, if he's anything close to what he was in Atlanta, you're working with frankly a very underrated skill group compared to the rest of the NFL.
Cody, I saw your article over the weekend where you were picking the most underappreciated team for each of or player for each of the 32 teams across the league. What players did you wind up considering for the Jags as their most underappreciated player, and why did you wind up choosing Zay Jones?
Yeah, so Travis Etienne was one of them as well. I think that, that's a guy that there was a lot of offseason hype last year. I think there was even some comparisons thrown around to, this guy's going to be the next Deebo Samuel, the way they're lining him up in practice. And he did kind of, to some extent, live up to that by producing as a multi-purpose, option for their offense. I still think he's underappreciated because we do talk about, Calvin Ridley's gotten all the press from a national perspective for the Jaguars. But I think, Travis Etienne really has, and maybe you'd be able to speak on it even better, but I think he's got the skill set and plays the position a certain way that he can really be even more of a safety valve for Trevor Lawrence, as he grows, both on the ground and in the receiving game. But so I think he's one of them. He's underappreciated. I think you could pick a number of guys on defense, some guys that stepped up, especially late in the year, whether it's up front in the trenches or at the back end of the secondary. And then Zay Jones, I think, again, that's a guy who you ideally, in a perfect world, he's not your number 2 wide receiver. He's not your number 2 or even number 3 target in the pass game. But I think he produced. You look at late in the year and, even in the playoffs, that's a guy who Trevor Lawrence was looking for. And I think that if Calvin Ridley bumps him down the depth chart just a little bit, that's a guy who you could do a lot worse, at a number 3 wide receiver spot. So I think he's got a real chance to produce in an efficient way this year.
Cody, you may be no surprise to hear that we in Jacksonville have downplayed power rankings for a while, right? and honestly, Tony and I always say the standings are your power rankings. We can have opinions about who is this and who is that, but it's hard to escape when you look at those this offseason, beyond the fact that the Jags are ranked, somewhere in the top 10 to 12 teams by a lot of people, that their division rivals sometimes all fall in the bottom 25 through 32 range, right? Tennessee was leading this division comfortably midway through the season last year. They lost Ryan Tannehill. Are we overlooking the Titans or any of the other teams in the AFC South as being a stronger challenger than we're expecting them to be at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting you say that, for so long, I guess the power rankings not always been a fun exercise. I would, I think there's a little bit of a comparison to be made here with a team like the Lions, where all of a sudden, Detroit, they're looking to snap a 6-year, non-playoff streak. Obviously, for a long time, they've struggled to really be a true contender, and yet this offseason, we've talked about what they've done with their roster. People are talking up the Lions as a potential NFC North, champion here. And yet, I'm not ready in that division to write off the Packers with Jordan Love. I think the Vikings have stripped their roster down. I'm not ready to completely write them off. Bears should be a couple wins better. If you look at it in the Jaguars division, I think a similar thing. Like, I look at the Jaguars roster, it makes sense with the quarterback head coach combo, with the skill weapons they've got, with the young ascending defense. All the pieces are there for them to really, it's right that they are the favorites, I think, in this division. But the Titans, I'm not a huge fan of the old school, setup that the Titans seem to be, continue to lean on here with the Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry contingent. But Mike Vrabel, he keeps that team in the mix. And then Houston and Indy, those are the teams where, I'm not so sure I'm betting on them this year to be that much, to make that much noise. I do like the fact that they've reset at quarterback. They're trying to do that. But I think Tennessee is really the only real challenger here this year.
I think most people would say that Trevor Lawrence is the Jaguars' best player, and I think in this room we'd agree that Trevor Lawrence is currently the Jaguars' best player. Beyond Trevor, who is the Jaguars' second best player in your opinion?
Well, I guess we'll see what, if Calvin Ridley delivers this year. He's got, I guess, the reputation, the skill set that would suggest he could be. I mean, I think I'd be interested to hear who you guys would say between Travis Etienne and Christian Kirk. I mean, I know Christian Kirk, he kind of became the butt of jokes because of the free agency deal, and it wasn't as drastic as it was first reported. I think he stepped up. He fared well. Josh Allen on the other side of the ball has done, good things, I think, better than expected coming out. So I don't know. I would say I think that skill-wise, Calvin Ridley has the best chance of kind of emerging as this really, blue-chip player besides Trevor Lawrence. But I might even go Travis Etienne, number 2 right now.
Yeah, I think it's fair what you're saying about Ridley because he's shown he can be a blue-chip kind of player. I think a lot of people here in Jacksonville would vote for Tyson Campbell being, if not the second best, the second most important guy on this team because he's so clearly their best cover man right now. And it'd be interesting to see with Josh Allen. We talk about him a lot. We're talking about him this morning. Contract year, will he put up the kind of numbers that gets that long-term contract interest from the Jaguars percolating? But, Cody, it is nice to have a national perspective from people that see what's developing down here. So we appreciate you coming on and continue to check out your work there and a ton of great stuff. Just go to CBSSports.com and you can find Cody Benjamin, tons of articles. Click on his name and it'll have the full rundown of everything he's written, including some of the most underappreciated players around the AFC, Zay Jones being the case here for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Cody, all the best, and we'll look forward to maybe catching up with you sometime during training camp and get your perspective on how things are going then.
Sounds good. I appreciate you guys having me. Hopefully the power rankings will still be fun to talk about in October and November.
Yeah. Well, we're hoping the real power rankings will be as well when we look at the AFC South standings in December or so. But Cody, by the way, can be found on Twitter at Cody J. Benjamin, spelled just like it sounds. Cody, all the best. Thanks again, man.
Thanks so much.
All right, there you go. Cody Benjamin, CBS Sports, with some positivity on the Jaguar front. And you're right. Here's what he said, Tone. I know you know, but for folks who haven't read the piece, talking about the underappreciated player, Calvin Ridley's the talk of the town as Trevor Lawrence's new number 1 opposite Christian Kirk. Let's not forget about Zay Jones' clutch emergence after mercurial stops in Buffalo and Las Vegas after quietly topping 80 catches and 800 yards as Jacksonville's number 2. He went off for 13 catches, 157, and a touchdown in the team's 2 playoff games. That is 13 catches in 2 playoff games.
Yeah.
Is nothing to sneeze at, man. He should be even more efficient back in a secondary role. Loves Zay, loves personality, love his fit, love his intelligence, his thoughtfulness, and I love the fact that he is proving to be, and I was a skeptic, Tony. I'm more of a skeptic of that 8 or 9 million that he got than I was the 17, 18 million that Christian Kirk got.
Yeah.
And damn if they didn't both show that they were worth that money, at least for last year. I mean, Zay Jones was a bargain last year for the numbers that he was able to put up and his impact that he had on this Jaguars offense. All right, we'll come back next hour. More from Louis Riddick over at ESPN. If you want to weigh in on anything going down Jacksonville Jaguar related, you know the ways to do it, primarily at 641-1010 on the phone lines or the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. This is Jaguars Today. Keep it right here on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute studios.
JOI, where the pros go.
That's why I came up with this little beauty.
What is it?
It's
1010XL.
I want to make our backyard into a paradise. But where do I start?
A few people I know chose CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living. They do it all. Fire pits, pergolas, and custom outdoor kitchens.
That sounds convenient, but I don't want a half dozen subcontractors milling around.
CSS is a licensed contractor, so they do 100% of the work themselves, from start to finish.
That's perfect. Let's get an estimate.
Well, I already toured their showroom last week.
Ha! Well, what are we waiting for? Let's do it.
CSSOutdoor.com.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Did you know that many cooling companies are now part of big conglomerates with no connection to Northeast Florida? In the past, they have concentrated on heating and air conditioning, but after a buyout, many add plumbing and electrical services. This raises their overhead, and those costs are passed on to the consumer. It's a case where bigger isn't better, it's just more expensive. Not Mike Merritt's Heating and Air. Mike Merritt remains family-owned and operated. Merritt's focus has been the same for more than 30 years, keeping Northeast Florida comfortable, no matter what the weather. And there are no overtime or weekend surcharges. Mike Merritt's team does not work on commission. They repair only what needs repair and offer replacements only on what can't be fixed. And unlike at giant corporations where you can feel like just another number, with Mike Merritt, you'll feel like number one. Florida license CACO 50384.
Whether you're undertaking a major home renovation or just a simple repair request, American Electrical is your 5-star Jacksonville-based electrician to get the work done right. Experienced design building department working seamlessly with their electrical contracting department to help you create beautiful lighting spaces and electrical plans that make your house flow. And remember, with American Electrical, it's wired right at a fair price. Call American Electric at 737-7770. Look for that red, white, and blue eagle on the side of their truck, and you'll know it's American Electrical.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Keeping your body healthy and active leads to a more vibrant life. A great place to do that is the First Coast YMCA. The Y is equipped with state-of-the-art cardio and strength equipment, plus group exercise studios where trainers host activities like yoga, Zumba, and cycling sessions. The full-court basketball gym and indoor 5-lane swimming pool are open year-round. The Kid Zone can keep an eye on your kids while you work on that dad bod. And it's all available with your family membership. Learn more at fcymca.org.
If your lawn is not as green as you'd like, it's time to go orange by calling Orange Environmental Services, Jacksonville's highest quality pest control for over 45 years. Frank Franchi here. I've trusted Orange Environmental to take care of our home's pest control needs for years. With the Orange Shield Protection Plan for your home or office, you can relax knowing Orange Environmental will handle pest control, termite control, and mosquito control. Orange Environmental has been giving Northeast Florida peace of mind from bug problems since 1972. Call them today at 272-3284.
Okay, next time you're at the store, I dare you to not think about the unmistakable fresh, clean scent of Irish Spring. Yeah, you heard me. I want you to resist picturing a shower filled with those sensational Irish Spring suds. And if you succeed, well, you got what my Gramps used to call resolutitude. not a real word. But let's be honest, you're probably going to end up leaving with Irish Spring because of its irresistible scent and because you have zero resolutitude. Pick up Irish Spring at Walmart today.
Brian Wall here. Would you take your paycheck, go to the bank, cash it, and then simply throw it up in the air? I didn't think so. But in a way, over the years, that is exactly what you're doing if you have old or builder-grade windows in your home. Even if you have a brand new home, those windows are not the best windows you can have to save on your energy bills. Window World has sold millions of replacement windows to homeowners like you, and Window World's customer satisfaction is the highest in the business. Please check Window World out yourself and save on your new windows and on your energy bills. Compare with other companies and you'll see Window World is simply the best for less. It's up to you. You can call Window World and get a free estimate, get the best guarantee in the window replacement business, save money on your new windows, and save more on your energy bills. Call Window World today at 904-443-7001 or go online to windowworldneflorida.com. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
Hi, I'm Don Menderes, former 10-year NFL strong safety for the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you have an athlete ages 6 to 13, I would like to invite you and your son to come out to my 3-day skills, drills, and conditioning camp that will be held this year in North Jacksonville. And they'll be focusing on skills, drills, speed, agility, offense and defense, and tackling skills, everything needed to be successful. So if you want to come on out, just go to DariusNextLevelTraining.com. I look forward to seeing you there and going to the next level. Go to DariusNextLevelTraining.com.
This is your 1010XL local sports update, brought to you by Royal Pest Services. I'm Dylan Denmark with 1010XL. The Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp won last night 13-2 as they take 5 out of 6 in Charlotte on their road trip. They head to the All-Star break. Their next home game will be this Friday. 2 Florida Gators were selected in the first round of the MLB draft yesterday. Wyatt Langford was selected 4th to the Texas Rangers, and Hurston Waldrop was selected 24th to the Atlanta Braves. And locally, congratulations to Christian Miller from Creekside for winning gold in the 100 and 200 meter in the USA Track and Field Junior Championships. Also, congratulations to the Nice graduate Nelson Reinhardt on winning gold in the 1500 meter. At 11:03, it is 88 degrees. Time and tip brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now more Jaguars Today on 1010XL. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, was my head bobbing going out on YouTube right there?
Whatever it was doing in the last 15 seconds, it
Okay,
got it.
It was. All right, just checking. I want to make Duval Doom happy, Tony. God forbid we don't click the we're off break button
And we
second
transition.
we come back, right?
Yeah.
You know,
I'm doing all these things back here, people.
appreciate you if you're watching on the 1010XL YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Right? There are a lot of ways to consume your media these days. Honestly, appreciate the fact that you consume this program at all, right?
doubt,
I mean, we feel like we built a nice little Jaguar community here with our guests and co-hosts, and but it's the audience that really makes it and puts it over the top. So we do appreciate the feedback we get most of the time. Right? And I'll even be a little snarky. I get it. Like Friday, I was mentioning something, and McManus was holding up. I forget what it was.
I think it was the
from
headphones
camera.
you mentioned.
Was that what it was?
Yeah,
It's
you're
like
like this is like from 1980.
Right,
and-
they looked like the old Walkman headphones,
Yeah.
like that you originally get. They're super light ones with those little round, little foamy pieces there on the ear. And so he was holding that up to show it, and apparently Doom was frustrated. Duval Doom's got to be the number one consumer of 1010XL YouTube right now, at least what I get in reaction on social media.
Yeah.
So however you consume the program, whether that's, downloading it later in the day, I like to be able to talk to people in the future. It's kind of like a time capsule, Tony.
Yeah, kind of.
All right, the Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day here on Jaguars Today, asking you to fill in the blank. 2023 will be a success. If 2023 is going to be a success, the Jacksonville Jaguars must blank.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? Bush Drive Rich, another one of our great regulars out there, said it was kind of a two-parter here. And he said, win twice against Kansas City and average 2 sacks and 1 takeaway a game. And when you look at it, the Jags last year averaged 2 sacks and more than 1 takeaway a game. That was not an issue. That's not a very high threshold, quite frankly. 3 sacks a game. Now you're talking about a difference-making pass rush, right? Now you're talking about 51 sacks over a 17-game season.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you bump that up to 45 from where they were last year, that's a significant improvement. And if Baselli's at all right, 23 to 25 for the combo of Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker, then that's doable. That's approachable. But I think, you can't overlook the first part of his reply, which is win twice against Kansas City, which means you're beating them at home in your home opener, and you're facing them again in the postseason, home or away, and you're getting over that hurdle right now that is the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, look, that doesn't mean you could beat Kansas City and lose to Cincinnati or lose to Buffalo or lose to Miami or the Jets or any number of teams.
Yeah, it's the chief reason that Joe Burrow is number 2 on every quarterback list you see. He beats the Chiefs, right?
The chief reason?
The chief reason that he's number 2 on that list is that
well played.
He's lost 1 game to Kansas City.
Yes.
Right? Like, that's why he's where he's at on these lists, is because he's found a way.
And he's gotten to a Super Bowl.
Right. And so, if you're going to get to that kind of level, that kind of stratosphere, you got to find a way to beat the Chiefs at some point in the playoffs.
Correct. But I think the whether it's the Chiefs or not, because maybe somebody else beats the Chiefs, right? Or maybe you lose to the Chiefs in the regular season and you beat them in the postseason.
Maybe.
That could be a success. Or maybe you lose to them in the regular season, don't face them in the postseason, and you advance past them anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it has to be that strict a definition, but I think what is fun is we're now at a point where success for this team is only going to be measured by the postseason, right? At least for the foreseeable future. That getting to the postseason, for some, that'll be the bar, right? Make the playoffs, and if that's still your bar, that's okay. But nobody's saying, we did have a couple, sweep the Titans from South Jacks Beach on Twitter. Okay. What if you split with the Titans, but you're 13-4 and you win the division? You could be successful anyway.
We get
right?
the Titans hate, though.
I get it, but what if you sweep the Titans and you get knocked out in the first round of the playoffs? Is that a success?
Yeah.
Right. So,
I think it's really cool to be at a point going into a season where, look, they're playing the Chiefs to open up the home regular season, right? Week 2, Kansas City's coming to town. That whatever happens in that game, that Jaguars fans are going to come out of it saying, see you in January, right? That's going to be the attitude coming out of week 2, whether they win or lose against Kansas City, whatever the result is, that Jags fans are going to be walking away from it saying, we'll see you again in January.
Yeah.
Then we'll see what happens, right? To be in that kind of position, Jaguars football just hasn't had that much. Right, they haven't made back-to-back playoffs since 1999 when they went 4 years in a row from 96 to 99. They've never done it in back-to-back years since. It certainly seems like this year it's much more likely even than it was in 2018, given everything that happened in 2018. A lot of it behind the scenes stuff that it was hard to even tell was going to be as big a problem as it was going into the year. So maybe there's some of that kind of thing creeping in the background. I picked them to go to the Super Bowl in 2018. Right,
I did too.
Right, it's not that we didn't have high expectations for that football team in 2018. They got in their own way in a lot of ways and put way too much emphasis on that New England game. I don't think Doug Peterson's going to let that happen. Week 2 with Kansas City coming to town, I don't think it's going to feel like that New England game, despite it being similar in that it's going to be revenge for a playoff loss against the team that is the best team in football. All those things are still in play for that home game in week 2, but I don't think it's going to have the same kind of feel that it did in 2018.
I would hope not, right? And there's a difference, too, between what you think should happen and what will happen. It's still sports, right?
No doubt.
Things are crazy in sports sometimes, and it's inexplicable at times. You look, and how did this team lose to that team yet beat all these other good teams? And so this is the time for me. I haven't done it in a week or so to bring up, as a perennial wet blanket here, just take any win against Indy in that opener on the road. Again, it's the parallels to 2018, going on the road against the Giants, Tone, and they kind of walked through that game, but they won the game.
Yeah, Miles had the late interception.
Right,
yeah.
and if that happens and there's a bit of a look ahead, I hope there's not, and I hope they're laser focused on going in there. But again, you're not going to know how they're going to utilize Anthony Richardson, right? I was talking about this last night on the podcast that I was on, the Fan Battle Pod, and Indy had down years from three of their best players last year due to a combination of factors, right? Quentin Nelson, Jonathan Taylor, Shaq Leonard did not play like they were necessarily among the top 2 or 3 players at their position.
They're all pros.
Right.
They didn't play like
the best
it
of
last
the best,
year,
and they didn't. So there's some – we talk about the hidden growth on Jacksonville coming from just the development. How much better is Trevor Lawrence going to get? Well, those guys can bounce back as well. And even with the decrepit Matt Ryan split with the Jags last year. So, again, if they beat the Colts 21-20 and you're like, man, this doesn't look like a team that's ready to contend, don't judge it on the W. That game is based solely on the W. And granted, that should be the case of what you judge most of it on, but sometimes you win a game like late in the season, and you're like, uh-oh, this is not a good sign,
Yeah.
that
It's the opposite of what happened late in the season last year, right?
Correct.
For this team, where they went up to New York on Thursday night, and it's like, okay, let's see what they got. And they handled that team pretty easily when everything was set. And then the next week it's at Houston, and it's like, this shouldn't be a problem for a team that we have the expectations we do. And it wasn't. They crushed the Texans that day. I don't think week 1 at Indianapolis is the same thing.
I truly think that they should sweep the Colts. They should sweep the Texans.
Yeah.
They should. But again, should and what actually happens doesn't always coincide.
Yeah.
Look, should they sweep the Titans? I think they're a better team than the Titans. But we haven't they haven't swept many AFC South teams in recent history. So, 5-1 in the division, I'll take 6-0, certainly.
Yeah.
5-1 probably set you up pretty well, especially if you handle your business. And at least, you're not going to win all the premier games, likely. But if you split with some of your most difficult opponents, and then you take care of business in the NFC South, winning at least 3 of those 4, you're going to be just fine. And then it comes down to the nitty-gritty of what seed are you and how many home games. And that's, again, where the measure of success, we're playing on an elevated battlefield now. It's not just, hey, is Trevor Lawrence showing improvement? Is this going to happen? Can we be a 500 team? No. The expectation is win the AFC South, position yourself for a run in the postseason, at least for me and you, I think, and I think a lot of people out there. And that's a much better place to be playing in right now, a much better space for Jaguar fans and for the team itself. Louis Riddick is fully on board from ESPN. When we come back in a moment, we'll hear some of his thoughts when he appeared on the Rich Eisen show over the weekend and just absolutely lavished praise on your hometown team. So with that, Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark here with you. Keep it right here on Jaguars Today on 1010XL, 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey for Pella Windows and Doors. Love talking about my sponsors because they're all people that I use in my daily life. I had the need to replace my windows in my house, and I went to Pella. I don't just talk about them on the air. I use these products, these services, so I know what I'm talking about when I tell you that they did a fantastic job. They made my house look great. They make it feel great. They're energy efficient. Consumer Reports will tell you they're the top choice for energy efficiency and stylish design when it comes to windows and doors. What better categories to top for Pella? You can visit their showroom on Phillips Highway. They're right next to Tesla. Be blown away by their knowledgeable staff. And trust me, they do fantastic work. I have them in my house. I trust them. You can too. Find them online at PellaJax.com.
This is Jaguars Today from the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute studios.
JOI, where the pros go. 1010XL takes you behind the microphone.
Mad? Yeah, mad! Good and mad! Yeah!
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
What do you want to do about it? Feels good, doesn't it?
The Drill.
Yeah!
Mornings on 1010XL.
Now it's time I got some respect.
Hey, folks, you know you want shark coatings, and the time is now. So close your eyes and let's imagine your garage. Wait, if you're driving, please don't close your eyes. Just wait till you get home. The rest of you see those cracks, the stains? It looks dark, dull, and dreary. It's nothing you're proud of. It's your house junk drawer. Now, see your floor with Shark Coatings. It's bright, it's durable, it's fresh. Since it's non-porous, it will be so much easier to clean. Don't imagine your garage, driveway, porch, or pool deck this way. Get with Shark Coatings and have a brand new space with new possibilities.
Are you drowning in credit card debt? Want to get cash out of your home's equity? Loan Pronto can now do it in less than a week. Hey, it's Prosser here, and that's right. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit just got even faster. You can get $50,000, $100,000, or even $200,000 in as little as 5 days. And you don't even have to touch your primary mortgage, so you can keep that 3% rate intact. Just get the money you need and pay off all those credit cards, or get that home improvement project started. With this revolutionary program, you can access up to 90% of your home's value, and in most cases, there's no appraisal. Stop paying insane interest rates to the credit card companies and get tens or even hundreds of thousands in cash in as little as 5 days. Call Loan Pronto now for the even faster Equity Express line. 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com or 904-999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Hey, this is Jason with Bueller Air Conditioning. Why do we love to go to that awesome grocery store where shopping is a pleasure? Why do we choose that amazing chicken sandwich where the service is fast and friendly and it's always their pleasure? You see, those brands are a promise. Here at Bueller Air, our team is committed to serving the customer and delivering that same kind of brand promise. Our mission is to be the most trusted brand with friendly and professional service every single time. Give us a call today or visit BuellerAir.com.
Run to the Jacksonville Sharks for their fight against the Albany Empire this Saturday, July 15th, 7 o'clock Star Arena. With tickets as low as $15, you can't find this kind of affordable fun anywhere else. It's Halloween and July night, one of the faves. Wear your best Halloween costume for a chance to win the best dressed prize. Enjoy Halloween movies, visit the 13th floor haunted house postgame. Shark Tank this Saturday, July 15th, 7 o'clock Star Veterans Memorial Arena. Call 904-621-0700 or go to jacksharks.com. Prepare for a fright. Fins up.
Get closer to nature.
Trying to get close to these bugs out here.
Jeff Lageman, Captain Kevin Favor, and Captain Kirk Waltz. The Nimnicht Outdoor Show. Presented by Duck Duck Rooter. Every Saturday morning from 7 to 10 on 1010XL.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation. Light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to carlsondentalgroup.com. That's carlsondentalgroup.com for all of your dental needs.
Need cash? Beaches Jewelry and Pawn has cash available. Ready to buy guitars, surfboards, jewelry, firearms, tools, and especially gold. They need it all. Selling or pawning, get cash on the spot at Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
Attention golfers, Hidden Hills Golf Club has become an attractive destination for golfers all over North Florida. You too will enjoy our classic Arnold Palmer design that'll test your game and keep you coming back. Book a tee time today at hiddenhillsgc.com.
Jacksonville people, the best wings in town are coming to Mandarin. The Players Grill is expanding and opening soon on San Jose. Watch your favorite teams and enjoy burgers, pizza, salads, and more. Players Grill, where the neighborhood meets.
Did you know the 2023 Honda CR-V Hybrid never needs to be plugged in? The onboard system charges the batteries for you. When you think Honda, think hybrid. Good for the environment, great for your budget. Visit your local Honda dealer to experience the CR-V of the future today.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. With the weather now hot as can be, look ahead and get that backyard ready for fall with a new open air or screened-in enclosure. Maximize the space you have and make it great with Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. They truly are the best in the business. So if you have the space and the idea, give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Tell them Prosser sent you.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Jaguars Today
on 1010XL.
Tony Smith, Mike Dempsey, Dylan Denmark here with you on a Monday edition of Jaguars Today. We'll get to some of the news from around the National Football League here in just a few moments. We do want to give you the opportunity to hear what Louis Riddick had to say when he joined the Rich Eisen show. We've been talking about getting to that throughout the show this morning. We let you hear one of those comments where he was just talking about how impressed he is with a bunch of the young players on the defensive side of the ball for this Jacksonville Jaguars team going into 2023. And there's a lot of guys to be impressed with, right? As we said when we played the cut, Jags got a bunch of really good athletes on the defensive side of the ball. It's the NFL. A lot of teams have a bunch of really good athletes on one side of the ball or the other, but the Jags obviously fit that category as they got a bunch of dudes there on defense that can get it done. But we do want to let you hear from Rich Eisen as he joined, or from Louis Riddick as he joined the Rich Eisen show. He was also asked about why he just loves the Jags coaches for this team going into 2023.
Jacksonville, for sure, is the team in the South going to be better overall, but Jacksonville has got dudes, man. And Doug Peterson is a fantastic coach. Their defensive coordinator, Mike Caldwell, is going to be an up-and-coming, under-the-radar head coaching candidate who's going to get some interviews this year.
Man, I hope so. You know, because that means the defense is taking a major step forward. For sure. Right? And look, get it first-year coordinator, and I think there will be improvement for Mike Caldwell, but, man, I think that's very optimistic that he gets in the head coaching interview cycle.
Yeah, I would think so, yeah.
Right? After last year, they were just what they were. You know, they do have some dudes, but it's on you to get that out of them. Now, if Baselli's prediction of 23 to 25 sacks for Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker comes to pass, Tony, then maybe he does get his name in the mix. And maybe he doesn't even get interviews, but his name gets bandied about as a potential candidate.
The defensive route is harder than the offensive route right now.
Absolutely,
in the NFL.
right? Because you get an offensive guy like Doug Peterson. Well, if your defensive coordinator takes a job somewhere, or your offensive coordinator takes a job somewhere, you don't have to rebuild your entire offense.
No, yeah.
And that's what it's generally about today when you've got a good young quarterback. Calvin Ridley, talked about him with Cody Benjamin. Cody Benjamin thinks he may prove himself to be the second best player on this roster this year. Louis Riddick talked about the route running prowess of Calvin Ridley.
What Calvin Ridley's going to do for Trevor Lawrence and what Trevor's going to do for Calvin Ridley, Calvin's going to burst back onto the scene as being that guy who, when he left, before he left and was suspended, I thought was the best route runner in the NFL, period. He can run any route and absolutely break your ankles, tear your ACLs, dislocate your – this guy is a route running just genie. And he is going to do wonders for this outside passing game for Jacksonville.
You know, look, sometimes you get a guy talking about a team, right? And you see this happen all the time on NFL broadcasts. This guy all of a sudden becomes the best at whatever. He's really good at something, and they talk about him like, oh, he's the best in the league at this, right? And it'll be some obscure thing that nobody ever really categorizes. But this is not an uncommon opinion of where Calvin Ridley was 2 years ago. That he was the number one thing he was known for was his deft footwork and his ability to create separation in a small amount of space. Look, he doesn't need to be the best.
No.
If he's in the top 10 in the league as by the end of the season, what a weapon that will be.
And I continually, in my mind, I go back to the other guys who play that position in the league, right? It's the Tyreek Hills and Devontae Adams and these guys when they're asked about who are the best in the league right now. And all those guys want to mention Calvin Ridley among that group, right? It's like you watch this guy run routes. You watch what he does to people. It's like, oh, my gosh, he's playing here this year?
Jamal Agnew said just from watching him in practice thinks he'll be unguardable.
Like it's a little ridiculous. Right, to think that they could pull off the trade before the trade deadline last year, and this guy's coming in, right, to that they could potentially be getting a guy that is looked at by his peers in the league as the best route runner in football.
Right, the best in a major skill category for his position group.
I mean, the dividends on that could be massive, and we've discussed all the questions that we all have going into it. He hadn't played in a while. What's going to go on with the injury history? All those things, fine. Like, it's not like all those aren't part of the the process here, but also part of the process is they're getting a guy who could potentially be the best route runner in football. Right? Like there is that possibility on one end of it here for the Jags and Calvin Ridley. Joining Rich Eisen over this morning, I guess, is when he did it. But also had this to say about, look, we've had a bunch of the people that have been out at Jags practice talking about Tank Bigsby, and, we think that he could be the best rookie, most big impact rookie for the Jaguars this year, all these kinds of things. But Louis Riddick is actually, his reaction to it is, how in the world did this guy get to the Jags all the way down in the third round?
But the running back, Travis Etienne, is a stud. Tank Bigsby from Auburn, the running back they got in the third, I thought Tank was one of the best running backs in the draft. I mean, in the third round, he's going to be another one of those guys where I look back and go, how the hell did Tank Bigsby last till the third round? He's going to be that kind of guy.
And another guy came up on the podcast last night in terms of, like, kind of who's a sleeper offensive player for this team. I mean, everyone we talked to, that is at practice every day, from Mia to Hayes to Ship to Duraco and Demetrius, and we're all on a first name basis with our pals, our cohorts in the media here. But they all throw Tank Bigsby out there as a rookie who stood out. Now, granted, it's tough to stand out. If you're Anton Harrison, that's not the environment where you're going to show that you're worthy of being a first round selection. Yeah, that he'll get that opportunity. Let's hit the pause button on Louis Riddick, because we got the audio from Tony Smith coming right now as Fat Tony takes you around the National Football League.
Now, Gems Around the NFL, brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
Denver Broncos running back Javonte Williams and teammate Patrick Surtain put on a youth camp over the weekend. Williams, who suffered a torn ACL a month into last season, said that he expects to be medically cleared for the start of training camp for the Broncos, saying that he feels good and that is the plan right now. Reports over the weekend indicate that free agent running back Dalvin Cook still has the Miami Dolphins as the top team on his wish list, but that he isn't happy with what they have been willing to offer to this point. A report from ESPN indicates that Cook will likely wait until after the July 17th deadline for teams to work out long-term deals with players that would have to play under the franchise tag before signing with anyone, at least from a Cook perspective. ESPN also reported on Sunday that the Patriots and Titans have both made offers to free agent wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. While cornerback Richard Sherman has never officially announced his retirement, he did say the following while talking to Philadelphia Eagles right tackle Lane Johnson regarding a play during the last season he did play with the Bucs in 2021 against the Eagles on a podcast, saying, quote, Devontae, meaning Devontae Smith, must have ran this comeback and I had him under control. You know what I mean? I was like, bang, quick jam, easy, got him under control. He must have stopped, and I tried to stop. My whole groin says snap, 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 snap. I said, oh, whoa, whoa. And then you're trying to guard him. You're like chasing him around, like, please don't throw him the ball. Our coach was looking at me on the sidelines like, you want to come out? Do you want to come out? I was like, yeah, but they're in a hurry up, so I'm bailing out. At that moment, I was like, yeah, this is probably my last year. I don't got it for these young dudes right now, end quote. Sherman is currently working as part of the broadcast team for Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime. Hasn't played since 2021. In the 11th season Sherman did play, he won a Super Bowl, was selected as a Pro Bowler 5 times, a first-team All-Pro 3 times, and was a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame's All-Decade team of the 2010s.
Yeah, after that game in which he got torn up by Devontae Smith, missed the next 2 months.
Yeah.
And then played sparingly right at the end of the season. So, hey, Father Time, they say, is undefeated.
No doubt.
I'll say this about Javonte Williams. I've been studiously avoiding him in drafts, right? Don't think he's a good value. And the other day in draft 141 of the offseason, I don't know. It's roughly in that neighborhood, though.
Take a plunge?
No, I auto-picked him because I guess I just, usually I check it. I check these things. You have 8 hours to make a pick. And
yeah.
I checked it late in the day, and I guess it's just the timing. I woke up the next morning to find Javonte Williams as my RB2 on my roster. And was not loving it. But, hey, and then he came out and said that, so I hope that's the case. All right, let's get a couple more here, quick ones from Louis Riddick. We'll save some for the final segment as well. Just some thoughts on what the Jaguars are going to present on the offensive line this year.
It really does. It comes down to, for me, how this offensive line continues to evolve, especially at the tackle position, because now, they're going to have to start a rookie in Anton Harrison at left tackle because of the suspension of Cam Robinson. They're going to have a new right tackle in Walker Little.
A little backwards there.
A little bit backwards there, right?
Everyone will catch up with that quickly when we get into, preseason, and it's like, oh, Walker Little is starting the preseason game at left tackle and Anton at right. Okay.
Right. Granted, now, we couldn't tell you who the right and left tackles are for every team off the top of our head, but, we're also not national ESPN NFL pundits. So.
Everyone knows Cam's going to be out. They drafted a guy in the first round. That's got to be the guy
so
they drafted to
presuming,
replace
right?
him.
Even though we know that that's not the side they're going to at least initially start on.
That's not really the plan. Lewis Riddick was also asked about the tight end room, which we all hope will include Evan Ingram, but still no signature on the franchise tag yet for Ingram.
This Brenton Strange, who they drafted from Penn State, the tight end, him and Evan Ingram will be as good as a pass-catching duo as there is in the NFL. And I know people are going to go, damn, Lewis, you're always so positive on all these. Not everybody can be this good. But you know me, man. If I don't like guys, I'll say I don't like guys. I like this team. And they are going to be explosive on offense.
Pretty evident he likes his team if he's saying that Evan Ingram and Brenton Strange are going to be the best pass-catching tight end duo in the National Football League. Now, you don't often think of tight end duos, right? We had the Zach Ertz-Goddard combo in Philly for a couple of years there. Travis Kelce and whom? Pretty much. I'd probably give you Travis Kelce and the next man up in Kansas City as the best tight end pass-catching duo. But that's Lewis Riddick telling you that don't sleep on Brenton Strange, and he really is giddy. I hope his analysis not invalidated by the fact that he doesn't know what side the tackles are playing on. But we'll come back. He's got some thoughts on Doug Peterson and his staff, and we'll hear those when we return in a moment. Plus, the Chad and Sandy Real Estate question of the day coming down the stretch here. Just asking you to fill in the blank. And for 2023 to be a success, the Jacksonville Jaguars must blank. What is the must thing that they have to do in order to have this season be deemed a success? We'll discuss that on the other side. Jaguars Today rolls on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. Good. You know what? A little rainy out there, a little soggy. Maybe you want to get off the road. Lunchtime's coming up. You realize I didn't plan this very well. Well, you pull into a gate station. You wait patiently until Jaguars Today concludes. And then you go inside and head to the fresh case and look for some of those Dandy and Anytime Deli label sandwiches, subs, breakfast items, light lunchtime wraps, gourmet salads. They've had just about everything you can imagine for fast, convenient, delicious, quality food on their menu. On the go. Look, Jacksonville's a city on the go, and Jacksonville takes a while to get to just about anywhere you're going to. So you're going to spend a little time in the vehicle, spend it with 1010XL and a Dandy sandwich to tide you over. You're not going to break the bank. You're going to get it made with the highest quality ingredients, get fantastic variety, delivered fresh practically daily. Your choice here in the First Coast. If you're in Duval and you're hungry for food on the go, know that Dandy name and do what I do. Go out and make yours a Dandy and do it today.
Jaguars Today from the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Studios.
JOI, where the pros go. You love him.
A friend.
You hate him.
I guess irony can be pretty ironic sometimes.
You love to hate him and hate to love him.
That's not possible.
It is with this. Ryan the Hacker Green.
Starting to get the picture?
Right after Rick Ballou. Evenings on 1010XL.
'Tis the season to be cool. Florida Home AC wants to make sure you're not cooked like a Christmas goose this summer. Make sure your AC unit is ready for the heat, and if it's time to look at replacement, look for quality and value. You'll get that from Florida Home AC. And right now, take advantage of $1,750 off a brand new heating and AC unit. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com for all the details and trust a company that will always keep you cool. Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars.
No dental insurance? No problem. Introducing the Care Plus program from the dental offices of Dr. James McCall. For only $625 per year, you will receive 2 cleanings and dental exams, a full set of x-rays, plus 1 emergency dental exam and x-ray. You'll also receive a 20% discount on all other services offered. Kids 12 and under will receive the same program for only $525. Call Dr. McCall today at 620-9225.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about not being afraid of the crosses of life. Life can be difficult. Maybe today you're carrying a cross of worry or stress. Let me encourage you to remember that when Christ got on the big cross at Golgotha, He destroyed all the little crosses that we face in our life. He set us free from fear, worry, and anxiety. Our job is not to be carried by the cross, but to be carried by our faith.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
This is Hayes Carlion for Spicklemeyer Insurance Agency. I was paying too much for car insurance, paying for things I didn't need. My friend John Spicklemeyer fixed all that for me with impeccable customer service. For all your car insurance needs, call John at 471-7155.
Are you an experienced automotive technician and tired of working for employers who put profit over people? Then come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road and get trained on how to diagnose and rebuild today's complex transmissions. See how we're different. Get traction on your career and come to Action.
Equal opportunity employer.
Yeah, they're all women.
I can't believe we're doing this. This is the kind of thing they do in the movies.
It's a little different.
Does this work?
But relax, it's still a sports show.
Helmets and Heels.
Driven by Tire Outlet.
And presented by Underwood Jewelers.
Tuesday nights at 6.
On 1010XL.
If you're often tired, have trouble exercising, or your heartbeat feels irregular, you might have atrial fibrillation, or AFib. Left untreated, AFib can put a strain on your heart and increase your risk of a stroke. But the new Heart Rhythm Center at Baptist Health can help. With the latest treatment options for heart disorders like AFib, our team of specialists can get you feeling stronger again. Learn more at baptistjacks.com/AFib or call 904-202-2342.
It's storm season, and JEA is committed to keeping you informed. In the event of a storm, we'll text and email you about the status of your services. We use Facebook and Twitter to post real-time updates. Our live outage map on JEA.com lets you track restoration progress. And as crews work to restore services, our storm outreach team will be in local neighborhoods to answer your questions. Because as your community-owned utility, JEA is here to keep you safe and connected. Your community, your utility.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. Hurricanes happen in Florida. That's not news. But what happens even more often than hurricanes are home break-ins. And if security is important to you, you might want to look into hurricane-rated impact windows.
What you may not know is that hurricane-rated impact windows not only help protect your home in case of a hurricane, but they also offer another level of security for your home.
Have you seen those videos on YouTube that show people trying to break through an impact window? A thief is way too lazy to spend his energy trying to break through one of our impact windows. That's why he doesn't have a real job like you. He'd rather break your non-impact window while you're at work. Window World has high-quality, very affordable hurricane-rated impact windows to help protect your home from hurricanes and from lazy thieves.
Call us today at 904-443-7001. Get a free estimate and see for yourself. You save energy, get more security, and the windows add value to your home. With all Window World windows, you get the best guarantee in the window replacement business.
Window World, simply the best for less. And thank you for your business.
This is Ellen Darley, and for almost 30 years, Darley's Plumbing has been known as a winning company for local homeowners, business owners, and our employees. And Darley's is an equal opportunity employer, now hiring for experienced plumbers and helpers. We provide excellent pay rates, great hours, affordable health insurance, and we've got plenty of work for you. So call us today, because we're hiring plumbers and helpers now at Darley's Plumbing, where quality counts.
ITP Partners, the official financial firm for the station to beat inflation.
Whoa, Dan. People don't want to joke about their money, not during these tough times.
You mean they'd rather hear about how ITP Partners takes our money and makes us more money?
Now you're talking. They make financial planning simple and easy to understand, even for a couple of slappies like us.
Those guys have been serving Hickets for 3 generations. Junie bugged me. I even got my son Drew being smart with his money in his 20s.
It's never too early to talk with Chris Bryan, Dan Abel, Brian Wright, Reagan Wright, Jeff Hartman, and Craig Ross.
Financial questions, ideas, or thoughts, email chris@itbpartners.com.
This is Hayes Carline for Island Wing Company, located on Southside near Tinseltown, and our new location at Bartram Park in St. Johns County. 2 great locations offering the ultimate sports bar experience where you can stick to healthy options. Island Wing Company has a wide selection of fryer-free food. The wings are baked, not fried, with so many awesome flavors to choose from. You can also get delicious salmon, tuna, flatbreads, and tacos. With tons of spectacular TVs, dog-friendly patios, and 2 daily happy hours, Island Wings can't be beat.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville, Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, we're wrapping this one up today in the next 10, 12 minutes or so. And before we get to today's Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day, I want to finish some fun with audio with Louis Riddick of ESPN, appearing on the Rich Eisen show recently and talking about a number of things. We'll jump in. We got 2 to go here, Dylan. We'll go with cut 7. Just a quick, little brief one here. Louis Riddick talking about the Jaguars coaching staff, particularly Doug Peterson, said he couldn't be higher on any other coaches more than he is on Peterson.
Doug Peterson as a leader and as a person, I couldn't be higher on any coach in the NFL as I am on him as far as a guy who's already won a Super Bowl, but now it's kind of like trying to put his name back in the upper echelon of coaches again.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Don't know if it matters where he ranks, if you rank him 5th, if you rank him 10th. I think we all are very happy. Doug Peterson isn't lacking anything that it takes to take this team to where it needs to be. Now, other than some good fortune along the way. You got to have a few breaks along the way. But, I mean, he's well-suited, put together a staff, run a team. We talked about it last week, Tony, debated what is the biggest strength of Doug Peterson. The beauty is he's a great play caller. He is a culture builder. He is a guy who's been there, done that, lead by example. He is a player developer. There are so many positives that you've got going on with Doug Peterson. He doesn't deserve to be ranked ahead of like an Andy Reid or a Bill Belichick. Mm-hmm. I don't think, even though he beat Belichick head-to-head in a Super Bowl. But if you say he's among the handful of best coaches in the National Football League, nobody should bat an eye at that.
No. He's shown he's capable of winning a Super Bowl, right? And
with a backup quarterback.
And the Jaguars in their franchise history have had one other coach that has shown he is capable of winning a Super Bowl. Unfortunately, it didn't happen here. Right, with Tom Coughlin, and who knew what he was going to be when he came into the league with the Jags, right? There was no guarantee that Tom Coughlin would turn out to be Tom Coughlin. Coughlin is a Hall of Fame level head coach. I think Doug Peterson, depending on what happens with this run in Jacksonville, and who knows what it'll look like beyond that for Coach Peterson whenever that happens to happen. But if he were to find a way to win another championship with the Jags, then, yeah, he'd be in that same kind of Hall of Fame conversation that Tom Coughlin's in.
You want to play this game real quick? I don't know if this is the here we go. Coaches with most Super Bowl wins, all right?
Okay.
See how many actually, a lot of guys have won 2 or more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 14 coaches have won 2 or more. Let's go. Who you got?
Belichick.
Belichick, obviously.
Chuck Noll
has 4. That's second on the list.
Andy Reid.
Andy Reid has 2. There are 2 guys with 3 Super Bowl wins.
Bill Walsh.
Bill Walsh. And the other one did it with 3 different quarterbacks.
Gibbs,
right? So Andy Reid. Now you got several other guys that have won a pair of Super Bowls.
Lombardi won the first couple.
Lombardi won 2, right? And he won a bunch of other championships pre-Super Bowl.
Yep. Jimmy Johnson won 2.
Jimmy Johnson.
Coughlin won 2.
Coughlin won 2.
Shula won 2.
Shula won 2. He repeats.
Landry won 2.
Yes.
Let's see.
Tony does not have a list of coaches up. I don't believe you. What are you looking at? Teams?
Yeah, I'm just looking at teams.
And that's fair.
Yeah. Parcells?
Parcells won a pair.
Yeah.
I'll give you the other ones, right? Because we're short on time here. Tom Flores.
Yeah.
All right. Remember, that's always he's one of the rare guys who's been eligible for the Hall of Fame. I think, did he get in? I think he did.
I think
right?
he finally got in.
But it took him a long time. Jimmy Johnson won a pair.
Yep.
George Seifert won a pair.
Oh, yeah.
Mike Shanahan won back-to-back with Denver. And Tom Landry. I don't know if you mentioned there. But that's the company Doug Peterson could enter.
Yeah.
The old time, it'd be like a 15-man list of guys that are able to pull down a second Lombardi trophy.
No doubt.
Quickly here, this is Louis Riddick on a conversation that he had with Doug Peterson talking about the maturation of Trevor Lawrence.
Here's really what makes it all go. End of story. It makes it all go. We went over to London last year before they played Denver and did their game for ESPN Plus. Talked to Doug extensively about Trevor Lawrence's maturation as a quarterback, and how he had to basically almost be like rehabilitated and kind of had to really be infused with confidence after the struggle he had as a rookie, not just on the field, but just with his confidence and with the way he was coached and the way he was supported and not supported, and how he was he basically was the adult in the organization his rookie year, which is unfair for him. And how you could see as the season went on, leading up to the way he played in the postseason, how this guy was just making huge strides week after week with his maturation, and how he was starting to play like that guy who they said was a can't-miss guy. Year 2 in Doug's system, what do you think is going to happen to this dude now that he's got the best route runner in the NFL in Calvin Ridley, all these tight ends, a young up-and-coming offensive line that's a little green on the edges, that's got it, but they'll get better. And these running backs, what do you think is going to happen with this football team? They're going to explode.
I mean, right? Just like
all
inject
gas,
it straight
no
into
brakes,
our veins,
buddy.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's Louis Riddick. And, you'd call us a bunch of sunshine pumpers if we took that tack. Although I did get somebody last week, and I forget what exactly the context was, saying that the local media needs to be more pro-Jaguar. First of all, I mean, I think we get more of the opposite. You guys are, more believing in things without evidence. I think we are. I think, honestly, I never strive to be pro or anti-Jaguar. I want to be pro because I want it to be positive. But I want it to be positive if the evidence gives me reason to believe that it's going to be. I'm going to be objective. And objectively, I think they're going to be really, really good this year and should dominate the AFC South. Let's hope that they play up to their potential. All right, today's Chad and Sandy Real Estate question of the day. Fill in the blank. For 2023 to be a success, the Jacksonville Jaguars must, and for you and I, must advance at least to the divisional round, the playoffs, right? So whatever method gets you there, you can't go out in wild card weekend. Got to take a step forward with this football team, or else it is a setback to some degree. It will be look, and it's going to be disappointing at any point if you lose short of winning it all. If you lose in the postseason, period, right? It ends your season and what could have been. But if you go out, especially like you win the division, you're, say, the 3 seed, and you lose in a wild card game, oh, man.
Yeah.
And look, there are going to be a lot of good teams. The AFC's loaded. So here's some of the responses we got today on Twitter from Tribu Charles, if I'm saying that right. Simply put, better results than last year. Okay. I mean, that's what we're kind of asking for postseason-wise, right? And I find it hard to believe that they're going to get into the postseason with a worse record than 9-8. I don't think that – I mean, I'm counting on double-digit wins, so I would think that they will have more success in the regular season. To me, that's going to be really defined by what they do in the playoffs. For Ray, it was playing the conference championship game, so he's taking it even a step further than we are. From Duval Elite, bring a winning mentality and be a model of consistency. What is that? I mean, you can have a winning mentality and still lose a lot of football games, right? I don't know. That seems like a lot of coach speak to me.
That's
right there.
the good culture is a winning culture thing. Like, it's the same kind of thing.
Right. Is the culture good if it results in a 5-12 season?
Right. Like, I don't think you're a bad culture necessarily. It's the reason that you're losing, but I think the bad losing exposes a bunch of things about a bad culture if it's happening.
True story. From TD, have the core players stay relatively healthy, create more pressure up front, dominate the AFC South. I think all those things are true. I mean, that's the thing. You could have success and have some key injuries and just overcome them, right? But chances are, I mean, staying healthy isn't the goal alone. Staying healthy enables you to reach your goals, to play up to your potential. So I think that's kind of understood with any of these, particularly when it comes to the quarterback room. You could, look, I think they could miss Etienne for a month. They could miss one of those receivers for a month. They could, depending on when it comes, they're going to miss one of their tackles for a month, right? But I think they can overcome that. It's when you get a wave of injuries at the same position or you get one or two at critical positions where you don't have the depth to kind of step up. And that's certainly possible. Make it to the AFC Championship game from Let's Go JJ's from Baxter. Win the AFC South with 2 or less losses in the division and win round 1 playoff game at home. All right, what if they have 3 losses in the division and they they win 2 playoff games, right? So, like, what do they – I don't think they have to have 2 or less losses. As long as they win the division, if they advance in the playoffs, granted, if you lose 3 divisional games, you're probably not going to have many opportunities for home games beyond the first round, right? And so I get it. Let's see, win at least 1 playoff game, win the AFC South, make another playoff run. Divisional round appearance again. If you're the 2 or 3 seed, it would be deflating to lose at home to a Jets or Ravens team in the wild card round. No question about it. But really, again, what it all comes back to is that expectation. The bar has moved from, for the most part, what the first 17 weeks encompass. All that does is set up the real season for you. And that's the kind of pressure you want this team to have because they'll embrace it. The pressure to win big and be among the elite teams, at least in the AFC, and don't settle for that alone. You know, the sky's the limit, man, but it's going to be measured by what they do come January. All right, we are done for today, so you can measure our success or failure as you see fit. But right now, we're going to welcome in the highly successful XL Primetime.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Tire Outlet. Keeping 1010XL rolling with wholesale prices and premium service. Tire Outlet, Jacksonville's largest locally owned automotive repair shop.
Mia O'Brien, good morning.
Howdy, hey. How we doing,
Howdy,
boys?
hey. How are you?
Hey, good. Recovering from a nice weekend, as I know many of our 1010 listeners are. Beautiful weather here in Florida. I know a bunch of you, like myself, were down in Tampa, whether that be for Luke Combs or for the Braves Rays. I was sad, Tony. We were going to go to the game yesterday.
Yeah.
Plan was just to, scalp tickets, quick get them yesterday morning. $100 minimum.
Yeah.
At the trop.
Hearing from
Mike.
Jeff and Gibby and the guys who made the trip from the station down, it was like 2/3 of the stadium. It was full every night, but 2/3 of the stadium was Braves.
I've only ever gone to see the Yankees play there, and it's usually 3-1.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how it is.
I do wonder for those kind of series why they don't open the upper deck.
Right.
Like they still keep it at 25,000 for those games. It's like you can probably fill it. For these specific games,
right,
like when the
team's
Yankees
not
come
benefiting from somebody scalping their ticket for $100.
No, but I would have gladly taken, and I'm sure there are plenty of folks out there that were down there for a concert or just down there for the weekend. We had said if it was like $50, $60, we would have gone for it. But when I saw a minimum 100 before those Ticketmaster fees, I was like, yes, the 2 best teams in baseball, I get it, but
and you probably weren't aware that they were retiring Wade Boggs into their Hall of Fame yesterday, too.
Everyone thinks Rays when you think Wade Boggs.
Oh, yeah.
Clearly, what you think.
It was so weird to see that on my TV.
When you do the
I'm like,
Immaculate Grid, that's obviously the first Rays player you think of.
That
obviously.
and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
For sure.
So you got to go.
That was my question when I saw him. I was like, how many did he have on the trip here?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And how many did D have to try to top him? All right. What do you have coming up today on the program, Mia?
Well, it's crazy to think, boys. This is like the calm before the storm. This is that last week before all chaos breaks loose in the college football and NFL world. And so we'll say hello to Dennis Dodd coming up at 2 o'clock. Big 12 Media Days, the first of the Power 5 Media Days, gets going this week. So we'll preview those with Dennis. Of course, we'll also circle into the chaos coming out of Evanston, Illinois. Have you guys seen any of this with Pat Fitzgerald and the hazing allegations?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Apparently it's called the Shrek list, like Shrek the Ogre. It's some very weird stuff, and then we'll recap the MLB draft
and they
as well.
claim that, some claim that he knew, everything that was going on. Of course, there was a supposed letter signed by the entire football team that said it's blown out of proportion. Well, weren't the guys who were accused of being hazed on the football team? So I'm thinking it wasn't the entire football team that agreed that it's just an ugly situation. So.
Yeah, it's ugly, and who would have thought from a Big Ten cellar dweller that once rejected me? But here we are. So it's
throwing darts. I love it.
Wild to think. Hey, I was just up there in the North Shore last week. With all due respect to the North Shore, so we'll do that. Of course, we also are going to look at some bold fantasy predictions. I don't know if you saw these, Mike. A couple of hot takes from Sports Illustrated. Where Trevor
Fabiano
Lawrence...
doesn't know what he's talking. I crush Fabiano in every league we play in. If you want a hot prediction, you're not asking the right guy.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna evaluate some of those coming up next on XL Primetime. Thanks, boys.
All right. Thank you very much, Mia O'Brien. There you go from XL Primetime. One thing I wanted to mention, because I didn't kind of push back in real time. We don't always do this with our guests. They make a comment, and you're like, that's not quite exactly the situation. When you talk about Calvin Ridley predicting the 1,400 yards. Calvin Ridley himself kind of corrected himself and said, look, I feel like that's the kind of player. If you ask me to feature me, I could get you 1,400 yards. I may not get that on this team because I may not need to get that on this team. So it wasn't like Calvin Ridley threw down the gauntlet and said, I'm going to get 1,400 yards this year. He's telling you, and he, it was interpreted that way initially, and then he kind of massaged that comment a little bit. So that's one thing that you may have heard Cody Benjamin say, hey, why aren't Mike and Tony correcting him? We got limited time, and we can get down to the weeds on something like that, and didn't think it was all that important. Just wanted to let you know, we certainly recognize that. If you want to hear the Cody Benjamin interview from CBS Sports, check it out on demand at 1010XL.com, and in addition to the entirety of this show and all the great interviews and shows that we post, podcasts, and all the like, all right there available for you. That'll do it for us. For Tony Smith and Dylan Denmark, I'm Mike Dempsey, back at it again tomorrow from 10 to noon with more Jaguars Today here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Yo, Jacksonville, let's go.